companies all across the United States, hardworking employees have jobs that may expose them to the dangers of hazardous chemicals in the workplace. The Hazard Communication Standard, nicknamed HAZCOM, was created by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to protect
I think it's on, yeah, YouTube. Yep. Go to YouTube and then search RMS Safety. Yep. We're on right now. I think there's one person in the council showing up for the meeting. But I think we need those, have those put like an option. It would have been an easy. think we make it, you said there's one person. There needs to be some. Maybe on.
Yeah.
Online. We gotta figure out a way to get that name. Otherwise, we really don't know. Maybe we'll have it text you.
I think I want to make that out there.
No.
How do you know the box?
It's really the guys. It's really the guys' rule name, I think. And then if there's like an emergency here, but this, yeah, that wasn't really intended to be like the main function for you guys. So. Well, all right. Well, I'm glad you're all here. More than last month. All right. So I wanted to start this meeting with a couple different things, a little bit off topic. Usually we just pick a subject and cover, but this month I wanted to start with maybe just talking about any kind of lessons that you guys have learned in recent months, safety-wise, or possibly anything else. I mean, we're together. I think the intent here is the time for this to be safety, but you know, if there's something else like, man, this product really isn't working and we've had to switch to this, or you know, had an incident that happened that other people can learn from, you know, I think it's good to get together and share it. So I know one, I'm not going to point it out, but I know one for sure that some people might be able to share some lessons that they learned from an incident recently. So I figured I'd just kind of open it up and see what you guys have to say. What's that?
I forgot to put the cone down on the home. I went back and got it, so I had the cone the day before, and just what happened, I had it on the sidewalk. I had it out of the way, but he said that I should have had 4 cones, 2 around each end.
Okay.
So, you know, but I went and got it, just somebody told me that I would stop the job.
And that was because of the ladder, right?
Right.
Because the ladder was right there by the doorway?
No, it wasn't by the doorway.
No.
It was away from the door. It wasn't the ladder, it was just the hole. But he was saying the pin in the ladder.
Oh, the pins in the ladder, right?
He said it was a pin thing, but it's not in there now. So
Okay.
that was 2 things that he did. It was a big problem, but I went and got the home thing.
Okay. And I got a couple pictures of things that we've taken off on job sites that I thought we'd share, some good and some things maybe to work on right after this. But okay, that's a good one to bring up. How about you guys to win? That's what I was waiting for here. I was thinking this is a good thing.
The question that you asked before, I call like half of it.
Yeah, you know, just sharing any kind of near misses that have happened or any kind of lessons that have learned. So, I mean, I don't know if everybody's been aware of like what happens when you're out there swinging in the wind, but
Maybe they might hurt something.
it'd be probably good to just clear it up and sit and just kind of talk about what actually happened, and then you know, we can all kind of talk about that for a second.
Any hanger that's been here before, had to pay attention to the weather, you know, and we all do it, you know, you see it coming, try to beat it down, and it just didn't work out good for us that day.
Is everybody here?
What happened was we was on deck one, we was on the west wall, west front wall, leading to the insulation. Me and Mike was doing a drop, and we thought we had clearance enough time to do the drop, you know, 15-20 minute drop before the weather hit us. We seen it off in the distance, but it was just kind of lingering off in the distance all day, and it wasn't really coming near us, but we watched it, and when we jumped over the wall, I was probably maybe 4 stories from hitting the ground. Mike was probably 6, maybe 7. And the wind and rain just came from nowhere, just instantly, probably 40, 50 mile an hour gusts just blew us off the building. I mean, we sucked onto the building to try to stay on the wall, and it just popped us up. And right off, and we was on the corner drop, so it took us all the way out the street. Cars, the whole intersection shut down, cars were blocking the road off. It blew me all the way out away from the building. definitely, I've been here 11 years, that was the first time this ever happened to me. It scared me from getting back on the board for,
We started hearing them, right before we got down, we started hearing sirens, and I think most of us was like, oh, how do we get down now?
yeah, I don't know how to the truck.
You said, wasn't a guy below trying to pull the rope?
Yeah, the guy stopped, a car stopped, and he was trying to pull a rope back toward the building, but when you started pulling on it, it stopped me from doing anything because you put pressure on the rope, it pulls it down to where I can't move it around.
We're trying to pull them up, to unwrap, and we pull them down so you can't do that.
You probably couldn't communicate with him because of the
So
wind.
I just started screaming to let them go, and we let them go, and they started wrapping around each other, so that stopped us from moving too.
Yeah.
James was trying to unwrap my rope from his.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's in the windows like this.
I couldn't see anything for like 5 minutes.
Because it's like when you're on the west wall, the wind was blowing north. It was hitting the west wall and going north. So when it blew us out away from the building, as soon as you hit the north side and you was already away from the building, then the wind just blew you around the north side. And there wasn't no wind, so naturally you're just going to come in and slam into the building, pour, bucket, mule bucket of water, everything. You're just kind of like a bird splatting the window. That was us. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Who hangs in here? I know you used to do on a regular basis. Yeah, you. So, yeah, so I mean, you know, good lessons to learn. I mean, that, you know, it's kind of, you know, you guys tell the story kind of in a funny way, and it's kind of humorous to sit back and listen now. But in real life, that's scary.
Every story first back.
Yeah, a little different. Yeah, right.
Shit around the ground, I think that happened when I first started putting one doing on. I worked for a guy named Al. He was the animal. It happened to Riley. Willie Riley. Blew him off around the corner.
I've been blowing around the corner before, that just lets you know and come back. You know, we didn't go back. Shit was constant. Hitting all that money. They were around the corner, blew around the corner. It was going sideways out like
I'll tell you what, it blew me away from the building probably 30 feet.
Yeah, that's another thing. We're not hooked anything up there.
So you got counterweights like this, since you're going up and over, and I'm getting blown out this way 30 feet on counterweights.
120 pounds of counterweight.
So, you know, and we talked about it afterwards, and kind of were like, you know, I mean, you're put in a tricky situation because there's storms a lot, and, you know, when do you call it quits? And like what you said, you thought, oh, it's so far away, we could get a drop in, but, and you know, looking back on it, it was like, shouldn't have, but you never know. You know, you never know when that wind's going to
It's like an example when it comes to the hangers.
Right.
Scott, if he sees a little bitty gap, we got to get in that gap. Regardless of what the outcome might be, we got to get in that gap and try to get the work done. And that's kind of Scott's thought process. So the weather really don't stop us unless it's already on us. Like, if it's not raining, we might do that.
We've been called to rain 1,000 times, but never been like that. You know, you feel the rain coming, starting to get wet, you hurry up and get on it. Or it blows you for a minute, you know, you hang on. And when it stops, you know, you just continue to do it. Or work. This didn't stop. It was like 10 minutes of constant wind.
Anybody have, you have like a weather bug app on your phone, and does it tell you wind speeds and stuff nearby? I mean, I don't know if that's...
It's got to be active right then for us to go on.
Yeah.
Because I can tell Scott, hey, we got some winds coming in. Like, oh, you got 45 minutes. Yeah, that's my response. Or that's his response.
Well, I guess that my encouragement would be everybody everybody to monitor those winds and I mean, do what you're doing, but hopefully, you know, change that a little bit. I mean, just wow. There comes a time where
You can have anybody.
it gets dangerous. Yeah. So, well, thank you for sharing.
Oh, yeah.
What about lifts? Scissor lifts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's even worse.
So, oh, yeah. You know, we talked about this once, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, right? You know what I'm talking about? The kids that went up? So, yeah, absolutely, man. You get,
Especially downtown in that wind tunnel.
Oh, yeah. You're not right.
yeah, I don't know that shit. Yeah, I would not be putting up a lift and that to go specifically, probably more dangerous than an aerial. It's so top heavy. So, yeah. Right. So I have a couple pictures. We've been out, Jim and I, on some of your jobs, and he's doing a training session here for another company today. I had a couple pictures to just throw out, just a couple good things that I've seen consistently, and a couple things maybe to work on. Some of these are, you know, rope jobs, some of them not rope jobs. One is I've seen so far, every anchor point I've seen chosen has been a good one. That's been really good. And I've seen 2 tiebacks on rope jobs, which is good. So if the first tieback fails, you have kind of a backup. Those 2 things have been outstanding. So, you know, that's some of the good. The one thing that we've noticed the most consistently, and you hit on this, was the pins and the ladders, and a lot of them seem to be actually broken off. I think they were chained at one point, so you weren't supposed to lose them, but I think a lot of them are broken. Almost every crew, they're broken off. So I don't know how do we collectively get that fixed? Do we order more pins, or are there some in the shop? Seems like, when we go out, it's kind of like, well, we had some, but now they're not there, and we're not sure what happened to them.
All of them here at home, all the time, they come with them. We used to throw it in the back of the trucks and stuff, and they're just all there with a little keychain thing. Right. Or one of the break off hinge thing. Yeah, or break off, get caught up underneath, where they slam, set them down, and put them together, and you caught in there, and pinch them, break them.
So do they sell? I gotta think they just sell probably real cheap. Who orders those? Scott? Okay. You're the ordering guy. All right. So yeah, if we could get the list. Yeah, start a list now. No, these things need to be pinned together. The ladders do. Those are put together in sections, and they need to be stable when you're getting up on them. So if we could order some, if we need, or whatever, boy, I'm spending Scott's money here, but you know what I mean? I don't think that should be chunk change, right? So one other thing to just kind of point out, and I don't know, this isn't always the case. Like, I remember coming out on your job, and you guys had some ladders set up, but you weren't getting off the ladder. So if you're not getting off the ladder, it really doesn't matter how far up this extends past anything. But if you are going to get off that ladder, you don't want to really be, just have that much of the ladder to be kind of, hold on. You should be able to hold on to the ladder as you step off. So the trick is, though, these are fixed. This isn't an extension where you can just be flexible. So it's hard. And you're not always carrying, the exact amount. And then it kind of gets tough too when you don't. But if we could somehow try to adjust the angle and make sure that we have the ladder up, I think that'd be good, because that's one thing that worries me if anybody's getting up on a ledge, you know, you want to have good footing when you're getting off on that ledge. So that'd be that's kind of a bad recipe right there. Every rope that we've seen going over the edge has all been padded. So that's been good. Real good there. Hoses. That's not something I've seen as an issue, but I know Jim went out and took a few of these pictures. And you know, this is common, guys. I mean, I worked for Miller Pipeline for 8.5 years, and we used what are called vacuum excavators. So I don't know if you understand what that is, but they have hoses all over. Okay, you have hoses running everywhere. And for 8.5 years, I was always reminding those guys, you know, and they caught on after a while. And it's hard. I get it, because you're thinking about the work at hand, not necessarily everything going on, but it's as easy as, just putting it to one side or the other. I mean, it's not it doesn't require a lot of time, it just requires a little bit of thought. And so just, if we could just try to remember that, try to keep those hoses the best we can, running against the curve, kind of minimize trip hazards. That'd be great. And then this is the last one. Just so you guys know, some of you guys may not, but plastic gas cans really aren't OSHA approved. Should be metal. So if anybody has plastic gas cans, we should replace those with metal. Just a couple little reminders to start the meeting. Any questions?
That was me.
Okay. Metal, because plastic melts pretty quick with a flame, and you don't want gasoline and flame doesn't mix. So that's pretty easy. Questions? Yeah, go ahead.
For residential and commercial use, outside of
It's metal with self-closing blades, so like a deal on traffic. Yeah. I mean,
Especially the dumping of that generator, it's still half the gas trying to build up.
That's what the metal can.
Yeah. I start carrying the on something. But miles come with it. Yeah. They have a fun on them. And it was that much in front of me. Yeah, you guys just don't have to. Well, we know where to find something. So we're going to make my trailer. My metal cans are going to go.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, so this month what we're going to do, the topic we covered, it's not a real long one, just a little bit here, is chemical safety. You guys have all got a handout in front of you, and we'll go through that in just a minute. There's just a couple safety data sheets on chemicals I understand you guys might use. So we're going to just kind of glance through that. But let's start by talking about what kind of chemicals you do use. And I do realize some of you guys probably use more than others. I mean, like the jobs I get out, you use Dawn dish soap. I mean, that's rough, that's almost it, but we just saw gasoline. That's another. But then, what other ones do you guys use?
sometimes oil flow.
Okay. What is oil flow? Educate me on that.
It's like a window cleaner solvent. It's like a petroleum base. It leaves like a oil base on the window to protect it from the rain. That's actually like rain X. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, like rain X. Okay. Oil flow.
Nano. What we use to take stains off windows. It's like a white powdered substance.
NANO? Um, okay. What else? Acetone. Okay. Well, when do we use acetone? You are the guy. You're the acetone guy?
They don't ever show up for.
What do you use acetone for?
The night meetings, I don't see many of y'all here. What's that? Strip down third hose.
Okay. Okay. And what else? Paint thinner. Paint thinner?
Aircraft stripper.
Are you the guy that has all this? Yeah. Well, the reason I'm writing all this down is one of the things I gotta do for you guys too, is come up with a complete list of all the chemicals you use, and then get more safety data sheets for the stuff.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because when you come out on the job site and it says that we're not here to like, jump on your case or whatever,
Right.
and explain things to, whatever, then all of a sudden you see it, that's what, I can't, when I was told about it and I explained the situation and I put it, it was told to me that was it. But then when you see it all, you know what I mean? So, the situation, like you see everything on, you know what I mean? But that was supposed to be the end of it, after I went and got the cones and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Talking about the last year.
No, the hose. So that was supposed to, they were saying that was the end of it because I went and got the cones and everything. It was like we was pulling it off the truck. When it was like that, we hadn't even had a chance to put it to the side.
Oh, okay.
We were just taking it off the truck. So, but it was said, but when we put it to the side, and all he said was I had to do was go get the cones. And that was the end of it. And he told me I didn't have to go get the cones, but I went and got the cones anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just asking the question, that was supposed to be an answer on situation.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. No, it's not, that we're like, honing in on you or beating you up over it, but it's a good, it's kind of a good learning opportunity for everybody. That is the way we kind of take it. Now, as far as your conversation with Jim, I wasn't aware of any of that. I got the pictures and I saw them and I thought, oh, that's a good reminder for people. I guess because
We didn't have a chance to move on, we was just.
okay, well, I didn't understand all that. So, yeah. I'll check with Jim from now on before I put
No problem. That was just asking the question, I wanted to know what, what I mean.
Nobody's beating you up, man. I'm not trying to beat anybody up. I'm just trying to.
Too late.
Yeah, too late for that. I better back that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah. Well, that's fair. We're really not trying to beat you up. I hope you understand that. Yeah. So, yeah. So, all right. So, what other than the things that we talked about? So, Dawn, oil flow, gasoline, nano, acetone, aircraft stripper, paint thinner. Anything else that comes to mind for anybody?
Stainless steel cleaners, whackers,
I just need to hand this list to you.
I can make it big one.
You can make a big one? All right. Well, let's talk because I really need to make that list. All right. So, it sounds like for you guys, most of you, it's very limited. For you, it's extreme.
Yeah.
So, what is it you do that's different than these guys? Okay. And it's mainly you?
It is me.
It is you.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Elevators, scratches off of, or text scratches off the elevators and stuff like that.
Okay. this month is a good one for you then, but everybody really applies. So I threw out a couple things that I knew would apply to you guys. So we're going to talk just real quickly about some of the issues with chemicals. So how can chemicals enter your body?
Inhalation, skin absorption.
Yep, inhalation through the skin,
Through your eyes.
through the eyes, swallow it.
I don't recommend that.
Yeah, it's not a good way to go. Inject it, which that would not be intentional, I wouldn't think. I would hope not. That'd be a heck of a high, wouldn't it? Yeah. So how do you protect yourself from chemicals?
Respirator gloves.
Chemical resistant skirt and matching gloves.
Blouse. Rubber blouse.
Right,
So gloves, you said ventilation, respirator,
goggles.
eye protection. Yep. All the above, right? You could show up like that one day. What's wrong with that picture? The boss, he says, do as I say, not as I do, right? Other things, possibly, maybe, substitute products. If you have something that's extremely dangerous and there's a more safe version of it out there that'll still get the job done. Being creative.
Hey, that's another one we use too in the winter. That's a good.
Oh, like antifreeze?
No,
Just the washer solvent? Okay. Yeah. What was the question? Or you
What's in that you let your hands stuck in? You know what I mean?
What's
We're talking about through skin absorption. What's in the washer fluid that you got, you got to stand your hands in?
Yeah.
So, wondering what you might be getting from that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good question. So here's the deal: is on every chemical, right? There's what's called a safety data sheet, and that safety data sheet tells you everything you need to know about that chemical, and it'll tell you will it go through your skin or will it not. Some of them don't. Some of them do. If it does, what does it do? Will it cause cancer? Will it cause, can it cause other problems? Or is it more like just dermatitis, which is an issue, but it's not life-threatening. It's more like, what I mean?
I think we all got that.
Yeah. And washer solvent, I believe, now, I don't have every chemical memorized, okay? Let me just preface it with that, but I'm fairly certain that one doesn't really have any kind of serious health effects to it. Unless you were to ingest it. If you swallow it, different story. But putting your hands in it, I don't believe will cause a problem.
Basically just straight sensitive to this stuff.
Yeah, you could be sensitive. Right.
Certain deodorant, certain soap, certain.
You could be, absolutely. But how to know for sure is look at the safety data sheet, and it will tell you exactly what the problem is, or what you're dealing with. So, as far as the labeling system goes, and safety data sheets and what's in them and everything, I got a brief, like a 5-minute video. In companies all across the United States, hardworking employees have jobs that may expose them to the dangers of hazardous chemicals in the workplace. The Hazard Communication Standard, nicknamed HAZCOM, was created by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to protect and inform employees of potential workplace hazards. At its core, workers have the right to know the hazards of the materials in the workplace. OSHA recently finalized updates to this standard to make it easier to recognize hazard warnings on container labels and standardize the material safety data sheet. This updated standard, nicknamed HAZCOM 2012,
aligns with the globally harmonized system of classification and labeling, introducing an internationally accepted set of label warnings in a standardized 16-section SDS format. Going forward, workers will not only know about potential hazards, they will better understand what the warnings mean, what to do if exposed, and how to protect themselves. Let's review the new labeling requirements. Every container of hazardous materials should be labeled with the appropriate signal word, pictogram, and hazard and precautionary statements. There are 2 signal words. Danger, used for the most severe hazards, such as mass explosion, extreme flammability, severe skin or eye damage, or fatality. The word warning will be used for less severe hazards, such as a fire hazard, or harmful to health, such as skin irritation, or narcotic effects causing dizziness or drowsiness. No signal word indicates minimal or no hazards. In addition to these 2 signal words, the new HAZCOM 2012 standard incorporates a set of 9 pictures, or pictograms, that denote specific hazards. Each pictogram will have a red border and include associated H statements describing the hazards of the material and P statements detailing the precautionary measures needed when using the material. Now, here's a quick run through each pictogram. The health pictogram indicates hazards to your health like internal organ damage, cancer, or genetic defects. Corrosion indicates severe skin burns or eye damage. Skull and crossbones means the material is fatal or toxic if swallowed, inhaled, or in contact with skin. The exclamation mark indicates the material causes skin, eye, or respiratory irritation, or is harmful if swallowed, inhaled, or in contact with skin. The flame indicates the material is a fire hazard. The gas cylinder indicates the material is under pressure and may explode if heated. The exploding bomb indicates the material is explosive and is a projection hazard. The flame over circle indicates the material is an oxidizer and can cause or intensify fire. The last pictogram, environment, communicates that the material is toxic to aquatic life. OSHA isn't making this symbol mandatory on labeling or the SDS, but manufacturers may choose to use it. The next significant change to HAZCOM is the standardized 16-section SDS format. OSHA has made the information in sections 1 through 11 and 16 mandatory. The information in sections 12 through 15 may be included, but is not mandatory and will not be enforced by OSHA. The SDS is intended to communicate the hazards of the material. The consistent format enables workers to access critical hazardous material information more efficiently. Let's review each of the critical sections. Section 1, Identification, provides the material name along with the supplier contact information, including emergency contact information. Section 2, Hazard Identification, summarizes the hazards, including signal words, pictograms, and H&P statements as described on the product label. Section 3, Composition, identifies the ingredients of the material, along with the concentration. Section 4, First Aid Measures, describes the initial care that can be given if an exposure occurs. Section 5, Firefighting, provides requirements for fighting a fire caused by the material or arising in its vicinity. Section 6, Accidental Release Measures, describes the appropriate response in case of a spill or accidental release. Section 7, Handling and Storage, provides guidance on safe handling and storage practices that minimize potential hazards. Section 8, Exposure Controls, provides recommendations to reduce exposure, such as PPE, personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses or gloves. Section 9, Physical and Chemical Properties, describes properties that can help to easily identify the material, such as color and odor. Section 10, Stability and Reactivity, describes the conditions that can cause the material to be unstable or reactive, such as exposure to air or water. Section 11, Toxicological Information, intended primarily for the health professional, providing health hazard testing and results. Section 12 through 15 are not mandatory under OSHA, but include 12, ecological information, 13, disposal considerations, 14, transport information, 15, regulatory information. Finally, the last mandatory section, Section 16, Other Information, provides details on the SDS preparation, including the date of the last revision. With this new system, workers in the U.S. and eventually worldwide will have the same...
All right, I'm going to stop it right there. So, what'd you get out of that? That was a little bit difficult to hear.
Can I ask you a question? Ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You know that ortho barrier stuff you spray around the house for bugs and shit like that? You know, you spray it inside and out. Only thing. What if you water them 50-50 of shit and spray it in your yard? Because I told you yesterday, I have a beef and smell. They couldn't fucking fly no more. Like you an ant. When the bug in my motherfucker. Now, I don't know, and I was curious. I mean, I was dead serious. I was curious, man. I'm like, if you put this stuff in the house and around the house, what about if you spray the whole yard with it?
I sprayed my yard with it.
You did too?
I always do.
That's the first time I did it, man, but the fucking bees couldn't fly, dude. They were walking across the goddamn ground. So I don't know if I'm, destroy the plant.
I ain't nowhere to go.
What no fucking, I ain't see a ant in my damn backyard. I was yesterday. Well, that's fucking, that's an interesting question. Like I said, I don't know if it's, killing other stuff.
It's safe enough to put into the house.
That's what I was wondering.
It won't kill your grass.
Yeah, I was worried about the grass too. It won't kill it. But I ain't see an ant on the
That's the next thing we'll find out, right? And you already made it dry.
You use a straight
It's
up
next
water
door,
bill.
maybe. But you won't have any bugs.
I put that shit in the bucket and power wash it.
Okay.
So, safety data sheets. There's a safety data sheet for every chemical, all right? And I've given you guys a few of them. On our safety data sheet, there's 16 standard sections. The guy covered what they are. I'm going to go ahead and show you what they are.
Here you go. So you have 16 standard sections on the safety data sheet. It shows you what all of them are. There's some key ones here. I mean, if you get something in your eye, what are you supposed to do? It'll tell you. Section 4 will tell you. What kind of PPE do I need to wear? Section 8 is going to tell you that. What are the hazards of that? Will it do something to your head? Will it expose, absorb through your skin and cause problems? Section 2 will tell you that. What if you spill it? How do you throw it away? If you're going to transport, all this stuff. It tells you all the stuff you need to know about the chemical, okay? So, and just to show you one, this is kind of what you'll see. You'll see that danger or warning signal word. Remember, he kind of said that in the video. Danger means beware. This stuff's nasty. Warning means be careful, but it's not as bad as what, a lot of them are. And if there's no signal word, it's pretty tame. Okay? So that signal word will kind of, help you kind of figure out how bad it is, and then it's going to show you some pictograms you can quickly look at and figure out, okay, is there a problem or not? And then in addition, some of the other things that I talked about. So let's look at some of yours. So I gave you guys a handout, and the very first Safety data sheet is on acetone. So you're going to see right here, product name, acetone, right? And I highlighted all these for you. Is that complete, you think? No. No? Okay. Acetone, I highlighted these for you. You go down and you see the pictogram. Do you remember what those two are?
Fire and
Flammable. And the exclamation point was an irritant. So not anything crazy, but it will cause irritation maybe to the eyes or skin, right? Okay, so what's the signal word? Danger. That means there is a pretty significant issue for it. If you go down and look at some of these, you know, how is acetone hazardous? Well, highly flammable liquid, serious eye irritation, respiratory irritation. Notice it doesn't really say much about like cancer or organ damage or anything crazy like that. So really, we're mainly looking at the flammability is the big issue with acetone, right? You can keep going. You can see I highlighted out just some of the more important things. So what kind of extinguisher could you use to verify? Well, just a dry chemical, which is typically what everybody uses anyway. But that will work on acetone. Handling. It says wear appropriate respirator when ventilation is inadequate. So you don't have to wear a respirator whenever you're handling acetone, unless you're in a confined area and there's not much air moving. Is that sometimes the case? Yeah. In the elevator with the door shut? Yeah. So in that case, you should wear, that respirator. Okay? And then, what kind of respirator should you wear? It says air purifying. Depends on the chemical, but here it will tell you air purifying. So there's different respirators. Are you the only one who wears respirators?
No, they do every once in a while for some things.
What do you guys wear respirators for?
I mean, I've done jobs for S&K.
Well, back when, I know when he was doing the acid. No, the acid on the windows. You know what I'm talking about, Steve?
Oh, America?
No, it wasn't your It was that. One restore or whatever. Yeah, we had a respirator for that.
We had to use it in Pittsburgh, not chemicals, but one area of 4 yards. Like every pigeon in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
Every pigeon.
Man, it's hard.
Really?
Yeah, that's bad for us too, is the basic crap, the dirty crap up there, on top of the building.
Oh yeah. Well, let me show you guys something real quick. This is pretty cool. If you're ever dealing with a chemical and you're wondering, okay, do I need to wear a respirator for this? What's the right kind of respirator? Because you need to know this. There's no one size fits all respirator. The only respirator you can have that's safe for everything is what's called a self-contained breathing apparatus. That's a tank on the back that the firefighters wear. You're not going to wear that, right? So you need to be able to know that there's different types, right? So you have the air purifying, which is like the type mask with the cartridges, but not every cartridge is good for everything. So you got to know which one do I need, right?
So you can switch out the cartridges.
You can,
Yeah,
This is taken to be better or worse or
yeah. So you can have what's called particulate, which means it's just going to filter out like hard particles, or you can have like organic vapor. You can have acid gas. There's all kinds of different ones. But there's two ways that you can figure it out. One is read the safety data sheet, but I will tell you, and I'll show you one here in a minute, they're not always that good. The safety data sheet's probably not the best place to go for the respirator, because a lot of times they'll just, think about this, let's say you make a chemical, and you're going to tell people what to wear. Are you going to be a little bit more conservative or a little bit more liberal?
conservative,
Yeah, right?
because we want them to not be afraid to use it.
Oh, yeah. Well, most places for legal purposes would almost go to the extreme. And you'll see that in a lot of places. where you'll have something that it's not really that crazy, but they'll tell you to wear a tank. Wear the full-blown deal, because they don't want any lawsuits later to come back, right? So there's times where you might get a little fuzzy information from the safety data sheet in regard to respirators. Everything else is pretty good. But a place that you can go, "3M" makes a respirator selection guide. And let me see. There it is. 3M respirator selection guide. And when you go on here, all you can do is just, if you just want to, you can search it is one thing you can do, but it has pretty much every chemical on here and tells you what kind of respirator you need. So, like, let's just use acetone, since that's what we're looking at. Acetone, okay, here you go. So here's acetone, the respirator. It says OV. When you look at the chart, basically it's a tight-fitting respirator with organic vapor cartridges, right? So the organic vapor is what you want to use. If you use anything else, you're not protected. But this 3M respirator selection guide is a good one. It's really good. So it's out there and available if you guys want to use it. All right. So other things with acetone real quick: eyewear, gloves, wash your hands. I mean, that's pretty much in a nutshell what it tells you. You wear eyewear, wash your hands, gloves if you're in a tight space, wear that half-face respirator with organic vapor cartridges. There's more information that tells you about it. The vapor density, what this means is it heavier or lighter than air? If it's heavier than air, it's going to sink. If it's lighter than air, it's going to rise. Air is 1. So if you got a value greater than 1, it's going to be heavier than air. It's going to sink, right? So this is 2.0. It's twice as heavy as air. Okay. Stability. Will it interact weird with other products? If you mix it with something, will it explode or whatever? It tells you right there. Product is stable under normal conditions, so that's good. It's not unstable, but some other ones could be.
So you can just use normal hand soap and wash your hands with normal hand soap.
Right. Normal hand soap will get it off. Routes of entry. How could it enter the body? So it tells you there. Potential health effects. So see here under section 11, this is really more like what you were talking about earlier. When we see the potential health effects of the eyes, it says hazardous in case of eye contact, but it's more of an irritant. So it's not extreme, all right? Skin, toxic if it goes through the skin, causes skin irritation. Toxic if swallowed. Hazardous in case of inhalation, it's a lung irritant. So, not anything real nasty as far as breathing goes. So, all right, so you guys get the point. Now, if we switch gears and we go to something like aircraft tripper, that's the next one. Okay? Now we're going to see a little bit of a difference here. We just talked about acetone. Acetone is very flammable, a little bit irritant. Now, when we look at this, it's different. Okay? You see the signal word is danger. You see the signs there, the pictograms. But if we read here, the hazard statements is severe skin burns, serious eye damage, harmful if inhaled, causes cancer. So that's something we want to know. Damage to the organs. And as we keep going back, we'll see, you know, with skin contact. So flip to the next page. Causes tissue destruction. Blindness in the eyes. So this is much more, where that becomes flammable, not so, just a little bit of irritant. This one's not really flammable, but it's a little bit more extreme with the physical part. So PPE is much more critical when you're talking about aircraft strippers.
You know, we've had issues in the past with a salesman that just wanted his commission check. We're trying to get jobs to use aircraft stripper inside elevators. Correct? We'd always say, no, 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 when you run the sky, where would you be? In the elevator. Yeah. And what I always tell them, no, you can't go inside the elevator, the stripper, man, we have to.
Well, who's job? What, refusing to kill yourself? His job.
You wear a respirator now?
We have to. Yeah. Well, we try to walk away from those jobs. The aircraft stripper, I always say, no, not inside.
You know, you can't have an elevator without a respirator.
So you shut the elevator on, how do you protect the people too afterwards? Shut the elevator off and air it out for a while.
Yeah, we usually, like when we're running the train, it's about a half hour, keep the doors open.
Yeah, we can use stripper.
No.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how to comment there other than if you're forced to wear, you know, use some kind of hazardous chemicals, you just gotta make sure that you're safe. You know, wear that respirator, wear the PPE. So, but as you keep going through here, you'll see more PPE and the rest of it. So here it talks about, man, you should almost start thinking about face shields. So you don't get it on your face as well as goggles and you know, definitely the respirator. It also says here, maybe something on site to flush the eyes if you get it in the eye. The eye wash. So, yeah. So anyway, you guys get the point. I had another one that was gasoline back there. We won't go through that. I just wanted to get you guys comfortable with what the safety data sheet looks like, how it's laid out. I'm sorry? Yeah, absolutely. Keep up. One of the things I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to work with Chris to identify that full list, and then I'm going to get the most up-to-date safety data sheets, create a binder in order, and get it out to the crew.
I don't Chris heard that one.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
It's probably not up to date.
Yeah, and these are newer. They changed these like 2 years ago. So I'm gonna get all the new stuff. But I actually get the copies are over. All right. So just a little quiz at the end, and then we'll let you go. What's this one? Irritant, right? Irritant, right. About that one? Could cause cancer or organ damage? Yeah. Seriously, severely toxic, right? Corrosive? Thirsty. Well, I guess I can see that. Gas under pressure. It's pretty easy one. Explosive. Flammable. What's this one? Remember that one? It's oxidizer. What's an oxidizer?
Causes oxidation.
Yeah, basically it would turn a small flame into a large flame. It's going to expand fires or flames.
Don't eat the fish. Bad for the environment.
Don't eat the fish. Bad for the environment. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Common household products like Dawn that you guys use are actually exempt from having those labels on them. I'm going to rewind here just for a second because I kind of skipped the label. Newer chemicals, if you get them in bulk, will have a label on it that looks more like this. It's almost like a miniature safety data sheet on the actual container. Those should start to be coming out here real soon. But you won't see them on like Dawn and stuff like that. What's wrong with that picture? No label. Wrong label. That's definitely not butter. It's right in that way, yeah. See anything wrong here?
Yeah, the whole thing.
See the peaches?
The pieces that are.
Mixed in there with all the chemicals? We already saw that one. Alright guys. That's it. Everybody signed in, right? Okay, cool. Thanks for your time. You have been safe and data sheet finding.
Not with me. I'm gonna get you a copy of it, and I will just, shave this. Yeah.
That'd be easier for you.
Hey, Charles, y'all, one of your crew leave a bucket on this today?
Otherwise, we're gonna have to do all that. See, when I'm a bit, what happened was, we had to go in yesterday, but I appreciate it.
Thanks guys for it.